blah blah. Starting over. Okay, so we're gonna try it again. Welcome to Quirk Concepts 3. Now with audio, because the past minute or so was actually muted. But thanks to Ja'Cory Brown in the chat here, which I will pop up in 3, 2, 1, blap. There he is. We got audio now. So don't fret. It's a good thing that someone was on board with this. Let me know if there's anything off. But essentially, this is going to follow the exact same routine as all the other Quirk concepts. The only thing that's different is the fact that it's just me. There's no one else. Alright, so I'm going to try my best to read all the newer, more recent Quirk concepts from both the first video and the second video. Starting with comments from the first one, adding up to where it is at right now. So, here's what I got as a setup here. Boom. So you see my cursor, and I'll go ahead and just highlight the one we're going to start with here, which is, what was it, Siamese? Or Siabonga. There we go. And we're going to just, wait, before we do anything, let me just kind of clarify everything. So, essentially, what's going to happen is that pretty much going to read the chat, as it usually will be, right? And we're going to see how people will stack up and see how viable it would be, or if foreseeable in the future, if you guys haven't read anything up to that point and just went off with that. So I'm gonna read these, I'm gonna see how they work out and see if they work. If there's, because we've had in some in the past, for example, Sterling Nation, dude, that comment / shipping OC character, that was wild. And it's a shame that I don't find this comment anymore. I think he removed it, or she removed it. I feel bad because that comment was a work of art, and I feel bad that I guess he understood it and it was like, oh man, that sucks. But yeah, I wish Gabe and the gang were here. Same here. But we're gonna truck it through it. We got me, we got people in the chat. That's why we got a live stream, and we're gonna get started. Starting with this one again, which is Siabonga. Here we go. Stating that, and we're over here. So I haven't watched the video yet, so I don't know if you've done this already. So first and foremost, how dare you? And second of all, I guess people really do comment a lot on things without even actually watching the whole video. So I don't know what to say about that. That's you should really watch the entire video before you leave a comment. But because who knows if they already answered the question for you if you haven't watched it. But in any case, haven't watched the video yet, so I don't know if you've done this already. But I'm sorry, guys. I'm just already I'm already hyped up with the energy already. But essentially, how about a quirk called VR? The ability is to bring digital objects, video game characters, and anything that requires code into the real world for a short period of time, which is limited by how many bytes the code you're going to bring into the world. So you could do the reverse by copying the data from the real world into your virtual world, allowing you to understand, edit, upgrade the information, but we need to be really good at coding. Other limits: to make your creations permanent, you need material from the real world. You can't fully. Okay, so first and foremost, I need to clarify something, and I don't really have this as a separate thing. So let me just click on that every single time manually. So first and foremost, you never told me about a virtual world. You never told me about a world that you can pickpocket from. So I think the issue here is that I like the idea that and maybe I need to read the entire thing, but I'll say first and foremost, I like the idea that you can bring out these fictional beings into reality, and honestly this feels like something straight out of Wreck-It Ralph or something like that. But I think the issue here that or at least I kind of have with it is because of the fact that you need to, or at least you have access to bring things into a virtual world, which honestly I don't really know why you would need that. What does your virtual world have to do anything with the My Hero Academia world that you would be placing this character in? I can continue reading the thing over here. I'll read the chat in a little bit, but let me just read this comment a little bit further. I feel it would work for Siamese twins, where one can live in the real world while the other is in a virtual reality. The dope thing is that apart from each other, for a certain radius, like how Wi-Fi connections work and can extend their distance by amplifying their signal. I'm thinking the characters of this would be both black male teenagers who are fundamentally polar opposites, but are still nerds. That's it's a random like little thing at the bottom there, but okay. What I'm still really hooked on was the whole idea of like, I'm hooked on to the ability to bring digital objects like into the real world, but I don't understand doing the reverse, copying data and putting it into your virtual world, because like, wait, what do you mean? Are you saying that? Let me just close out this. So I think I need more clarification on that one. So, and I know that's 3 months ago, right? As of the time of this recording, which is July 13th, 2019. Like, are you talking about like, say you want to send someone a text message, and instead of like sending an emoji, you can literally just send Ryu from Street Fighter to do a Hadouken in like a GIF format, but he's actually like there. That's what I'm trying to get out of that. So that's very strange. But in any case, I was gonna say also that I'm gonna rate this as far as like rating them. Like, it's either a yes or no, but the no will be like some kind of response saying, "I'd rather be quirkless." And the other, and honestly, like the yes is just like, it's a simple yes on that one. But in any case, Josh was saying like, what if someone had a quirk to where everything they nut is a ski gets shot up? Oh wow, dude. Listen, you guys are free to just say whatever you want, but I'm gonna say that I'm much more obligated to say things or comment on things that people have left prior versus what you guys are leaving now in the chat. So I'm just gonna leave you guys to do whatever you need to do here. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. So in any case, so Siabonga, I'm just gonna have to. It's cool. It's really cool, VR, because if we got to, and I guess I need to elaborate on it, because think about it, like really any video game character, and there are a lot of like overpowered video game characters. However, you could say that like, well, Digimon would just defeat the whole like reference point here, but say like everything's up to scale based on like human height. So things like, say, a mecha, which is like skyscraper tall, would take so much like time out of it. So the limitation of the VR quirk is the fact that it's limited to how many like bytes of coding you're going to need to bring this thing into the world. And assuming that you already have such a grasp at coding, they can code like an entire mecha. There's still the time limit. So say that coding another me, like a digital me, into the world may take, say, let's say 10 minutes before like it evaporates away, or I guess we can say it snaps away, and then versus a mecha, which would take like maybe 10 seconds, like 10 seconds, like that's all you really get. And I like that idea. I like the idea that it's very limited just based on the time. However, how to strengthen that, that's another story, and I don't really know how exactly you would do that unless you want to make multiple copies of like yourself or other people, or just try to like scale big and see if you can at least improve on the efficiency of your coding ability, I guess, if we're gonna do this. Mark says, I did not realize we're going to do this. You should have listened to the podcast. I've said it many times before that, like, hey, like within an hour or so, I'm going to do this. So just letting you guys know. But in any case, let me jump into the monitor again. So we just went over the VR coding one. For me, everything works out except for the fact of bringing things into like another virtual world. That doesn't really jive with me. So I'm gonna give this one a pass, as in it's good. And remember, guys, if it's not good, I'm just going to say, I'd rather be quirkless. So we're going into a hidden potential, AJ here. There are a couple of replies here. And we'll see about that. And what he's saying is, what about quirk like I'd have to have? Like the quirk, which would be ghost. No one can ever touch you again as long as you're awake. You can move through walls and floors and when you touch someone, you can take them over. I feel like I've seen this one before, but you have to turn off your quirk and restart to do it. So can I do like a hot read back into that again? No one can ever touch you again as long as you are awake. Okay, so we've already established that. I'll give you guys a chance to take a look at that one more time and go. Okay, so the idea is that when you are awake, like how I am right now, I am a ghost. Now, whether I have the ability to just kind of like keep myself like this, sitting in a chair, or I will just phase through it, the floor, the walls, that hasn't been quite specified. But when you touch someone, you can take them over. So it's very much so like Danny Phantom. Remember that show, Nickelodeon, where it was just like, it was a teenage 14-year-old boy who just like got these ghost powers, and it followed the same structures of like how a coming of age story of how you learn responsibility with these powers while still maintaining your high school life. In this case, this is now a quirk. The question is this something you can activate, as like he was saying at the end, but you have to turn off your quirk and restart to do so as far as taking over someone. So I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that, because from my understanding of this, you could turn on and off, and it's very similar to Mirio's quirk, where you can like actually like manipulate certain parts of his body to actually phase through. Otherwise, he would just phase straight down. That was the issue with him. So I'm gonna assume that he's meaning that you can do things just like Mirio, except at a degree a little bit more different as far as being able to take someone over. But otherwise, it is just like Mirio's quirk. In which case, that's cool. I do think that there needs to be like clarification as far as like, what do you mean by like a do-over? Because if I'm already like invisible, then I'll just be like, yeah, take over. But yeah, let me check to see the comments here, saying like it has some aspects of I'm gonna say that's Mirio or Mari, I don't really know. Ghost powers from Ant-Man and the Wasp, right? Because there was a character who unfortunately didn't get really written as well as far as the easy transition from that to Endgame. But okay. Tony, YouTube channel, I haven't watched the show. Do you think it's good? Yeah, I take it. Okay, so with that one, how does everyone in the chat feel about that one? Like ghost powers, I'm okay with it because it's very much similar to Mirio's, but it might be slightly overpowered because you can take over someone. But that is the whole purpose of like the ghost, so I can't understand it. However, there is no setback to it. I realized that. I would say that the drawback is, of course, if you go to sleep, you revert back to just a regular physical being. However, I want to say that like, just like most ghosts, or at least the story behind each ghost story, let's say that your powers are very limited during daylight hours, in the sense that you can't phase through everything, or rather, the density of what you can phase through varies. Like maybe you can phase through a door, but you can't phase through a wall per se. Let's say that if they're different densities. In any case, let's see. Are we reading only comments, or are we taking suggestions live? So Mark, just to clarify, as Jacory Brown has said, we're just focusing on comments that have been previously placed, just so they have been covered. And as far as like future events, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll actually do like a full live like feedback type of talk about quirks. In any case, the ghost one is good. I just wish it had like a setback, because all the quirks that we've seen so far have setbacks to them, unless there is some kind of loophole within them, just like Todoroki's quirk, in which if you balance it out, it can like it can balance, but in this case it kind of doesn't quite, because otherwise it becomes a little bit too powerful. So I'll give it the pass. It just needs that extra setback to it. Next one, boop, is Quirk concept, liquid nitrogen. The user can use his left hand. Oh, sorry guys, I'm pointing over here. To turn. Well, he can use his left hand to turn into water and the right to freeze it. Drawback: you can't freeze using right hand immediately. You need to turn it to water first. Okay. Wait. Oh, I see. Oh, I kind of get it. Okay, so give you guys a little second to look at that. Okay, and boop. Okay, so what we just saw there. So just to reiterate, left hand turns to water, kind of like Todoroki's. Right hand freezes. But he's saying that that's all you can do. You can't use your right hand immediately. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? That's an interesting one. So it's like a flamethrower. Sends gasoline forward and lights it. Essentially, same thing, but with ice. I guess so. I think it's the way that Leakin actually voices it, or like tries to advertise it. It doesn't really, because I'm not one very familiar with liquid nitrogen myself, so I don't really know like the possibilities you can do with that. So to know that you can turn your hand to water, but it's like, can I shoot the water? Can I like whip someone with my water? Like is it just like water? And does it like hold in place, or does it just like fall like, you know, regular water? And if my hand can like freeze it, can I shoot, or can I like conduct or like send ice somewhere? If I can send ice, well, I guess you would because it's a solid. But I don't know that. Yeah, I think it means you can shoot the water. Okay, so if that's the case, then it's kind of a Todoroki clone, which, okay, we're starting to see a little bit of like clone quirks here, and I'm okay with that, but I'm also not so okay with that. But okay, so Mark is saying if you can emit the ice, you can send it or shoot it. Okay, so sure, we'll put the assumptions there. So otherwise, okay, it's just like shooting water and then freezing it. The only problem was just like the wording. It just made me think like, is it just stuck to that? So I will give it the pass now that we've kind of elaborated on it. Of course, the downside here is that it's just fixed to your left hand and right hand. However, your left is connected to you. So if you were to get shocked, then that doesn't help you that much. And of course, we can assume that like by freezing, your right arm like will go through the same effect as Todoroki's will. So that's the drawback there. And the fact that neither one of them can really work well with the other means that you're seeing like double the drawback. So there's actually like an extra weakness to it. Almost like when you give a rock type Pokemon the steel typing, you're like, oh shit, this is so like edgy. And you're like, wait, fighting could just completely cripple it. So something like that. Or ground types. So sad for Pokemon. In any case, let's move on to the next one. So again, Lincoln, you get the pass. Oh boy. Here we go. This is it. we got the Dragon Ball reference here. But yeah, Mark was also adding, sorry, I'm just gonna jump into the my chat here. Electricity would be a weakness until he freezes the steam, which electricity wouldn't shock. And that's weird because because ice carries the water, and because it's already, we're gonna assume it's at like room temperature, that ice event is going to melt. So, though not as conductive, it still can over time. That's why I was thinking like, okay, that might actually be a big issue still. So, but then again, Todoroki doesn't have any coverings for that either, unless he wore plastic gloves. In any case, here we go. We got from Sean, we got some key control. So this one's kind of a wordy one, but let's sit through this one. When used, the user can buff their punches and kicks and can shoot projectiles across around like the speed of a bullet. Okay, so very similar. We're gonna just have to use Dragon Ball Z as a reference here. Type of dynamic. Can heal people's wounds to fix broken bones. Okay, that's kind of broken. I'm just gonna say it right now that is really broken. But the drawback, here we go. Here it is. If the user uses their quirk too much, they will suffer from a set key disorder. Oh, okay. I'm starting to see something here. Where the user loses their control. Okay, I didn't see that coming. Which could lead to hitting others with their own key blast or having it turn on and off at random times without warning. Potential abilities to find while training. Getting flight for a short period of time. Okay, so he's going through the whole process of quirk training, which I will jump into in just a little bit. Can make exploding key blasts, which can follow tracking targets using some to store up key, can give themselves a power up that boosts strength and speed by 2 to 10 times their original speed. But if they use too much, it's again the set key disorder. Okay, so shoot, I should have really like done something where I could show myself and the thing. But okay, so I can pull it up upon request, but essentially, yeah, like, did someone look at my name and just do this? So what Mark is saying, what I'm hearing is that you can use your energy, also known as ki, to boost your strength and use projectiles also while also going Super Saiyan. Essentially, yes, this is exactly the Dragon Ball quirk. But my thing is that the drawback is definitely the ki disorder. And there needs to be a lot of thought being put into this if you want to make it balanced off in the My Hero Academia universe. Not saying that all quirks should be like that, but to give it a fairness to it, we kind of put the assumption there. So essentially, yeah, so just like in Dragon Ball Z, you have ki, which you can power up like your strengths, and you can shoot ki blasts, which we'll soon see get shots in the at the speed of a bullet. You can heal broken bones. That's the thing. And obviously you're going to use your ki to do that, and we don't really know the specifics of how much ki is used to heal something like a broken arm, for example. Again, the drawbacks being having this ki disorder, which in quote a user loses control, what could lead to others being hurt by their own ki. Essentially, you lose control. So instead of me shooting straight, when I have the ki disorder, it will shoot at a random direction, like within like the radius, say 90 degrees, like from like where my arm is or palm is shooting or aiming. And at some point you can train up your quirk to do different things. I like that bit of it because it does expand on the ability to advance your quirk, which is something that has been brought up to the My Hero Academia universe, so I'm totally okay with that. I think the problem with like having a ki disorder is that a lot of it should happen like internally, right? Where instead of trying to shoot ki like emitting all the way to your palm and then shooting it like that, like regular Dragon Ball, what if what he means by turning on and off, what if that's the case, or worse, it actually like kind of implodes on you, but like not physically, but like the energy like kind of implodes on you and kind of like dampens your like ability to generate more. So maybe it is a struggle to build up your ki again like you normally would. And of course you can build it up by like training it over and over again, in which case that's when we act into the next portion of the quirk, which is to give yourself a boost. Essentially charging up all that ki, and instead of like releasing it, you take it in. So, and that kind of like goes into like almost Kaioken status of area or Super Saiyan, in which case this one can work. It just feels that it's almost close to All Might's quirk. Although with All Might, it by generations it gets even stronger, which is scary. And of course the downside is that you just got to get good, and that will take a long time. In this case, I'm actually kind of okay with this quirk as completely just almost like, hey, can you copy my homework? But yeah, just don't make sure you didn't make it look like you got it from the same person. Okay, gotcha. Type of like power setup this is. I'm actually okay with it. even the drawbacks would be pretty good because the key strengthens everything from you. And if you have a disorder, after using it for like say 5 minutes, that actually makes a whole lot of difference for you just being a regular human versus being pretty much a Saiyan. But yeah, that one works out for me. We're gonna give it the pass, and yeah, it's pretty good. So props to Sean, appreciate that one. And now we move on to the next one right here. So 3, 2, 1, boop. We got Swinky Tinky Engine. Oh boy. Ooh. And it's another wordy one. And there's also a reply to that. Ooh, okay. Here we go. This is Muscle Augmentation 2. Similar to the original, muscle fibers aren't contained by skin, but the muscle only forms in specific areas of the body. However, with Muscular's quirk, it allows him to cover his whole body with muscle fibers. But with this revamped version, in order to augment his muscles, he must use other muscles to contribute to it. Oh, okay. That's kind of hard to understand, but I'll go into depth. Say he wanted his muscles to augment his right arm. In order to do that, he must take all the muscles from his left arm and transfer them to his right. Kind of how All Might was using his fight during All for One. I'm basically just nerfing Muscular's quirk because, let's be fair, it's kind of OP. And absolutely, Swinky, you're right. Also, Ally No Constancy, prepare to see a lot more of his replies, or her replies here. But yeah, let's just say, to be fair, anime isn't a fighting game, so there isn't really much of a balance. Unless, of course, you're talking about the My Hero Academia fighting game. Okay, so I like and I don't like this quirk, okay? And I'm only saying that because of the naming of it. So with Muscle Augmentation 2, essentially it's kind of like a mass quirk, or at least one mass muscle that you can train to maybe like, oh shit, because it's starting to overlap between what Muscular was able to use with it versus how Deku was using One for All in the beginning, where as Deku started to learn that he can divide up the power, and in this case the muscle would be able to be spread out kind of evenly. However, it looks like things are going to be like limited in this quirk to just one area. Like you can't like divide it up. It just goes somewhere. It has to go somewhere, I think. Let's see what everyone else thinks about this one. Mark's saying it's a huge drawback, right? You're essentially putting anchor arms on your body parts one at a time, right? So that's why I'm saying that Augmentation 2 just seems like such an understatement, or at least an overstatement. It seems like Muscle Augmentation 0.5. Final mix. The story so far. Final chapter prologue. So it's a nerf version of that, which I believe in My Hero Academia that would actually be a case that can happen for sure. Because if you can have a glow up baby, they can most certainly have someone who can shoot lasers from their belly buttons. Essentially having almost the same like aspect to them, just used differently. So considering that Midoriya kind of has One for All, and that's essentially, though it doesn't like physically produce muscle mass, it is the cumulative strength, and that's essentially what this is. Granted, this one's a lot weaker than Muscular's, so I will give this one a pass for sure, but I would rename that to Muscle Augmentation 0.5. If this was a nerf, it's a big ass nerf. Exactly. And, well, I won't knock him for it, because sometimes people want to just nerf a character. Rest in peace, Cloud and Bayonetta. In any case, let me jump into the next one. You were saying, Mark, that you were liking Zachary Dye's one here. So here we go. Shit, I know this one. This one's the One Punch Man quirk. What about the ability to punch something and suddenly all the problems that you have with the thing you punch disappears? It's called, says Ali, letting out frustration. Quirkless people have it. Bakugo also has it. It calms him down when punching Deku. Zach's saying like, yes, but only if when he punches Deku. I was thinking Saitama, but his plot armor only works when he punches something. So, well, if I'm going to literally just try my best to make this sound like it works, okay. So let's simply call this One Punch Man quirk. Now, here's the thing, that it isn't quite just One Punch Man. He's saying that whatever you punch disappears. So, I mean, if you think about it, this is Shigaraki's quirk. But instead of grabbing people with all 5 digits, which evolves later on in the manga, you just punch someone and they disappear. Like you're individually snapping people, but not snapping them, but you're actually just clocking them on the side of the head. So, using Shigaraki as kind of a point of reference, I can't say this is absolutely outlandish. However, the drawback is, of course, you can't control that, and there's not really much of a specification as to what would be considered a punch. Like, let's say here's the wall here, and you're just gonna meet it with like a droopy hand. Now, the natural course of things is that like it will like all contract into a fist, but you can see that there's not really much flex like in the fingers to make that into a punch. So in that perspective, what is considered a punch versus say like maybe a backhand, or simply blocking someone, or like grabbing someone like this? Like, what designates a punch? Sick, punch yourself, instantly cured. He said all your problems would go away. So there's also that, like, would your problems go away, or like physically does it disappear? Listen, I'm all for the comedy of this, but this doesn't, I mean, it's obviously something that which is kind of, like, just pointing out there. And honestly, if I had such a quirk that had so much flexibility, make the dirty clothes go away, or like make this one person I don't like disappear. Like, I only wish. So unfortunately, in this one, because it doesn't, I mean, we're kind of taking this seriously in a way. I have to rate it as a I'd rather be quirkless. Okay. But it's still funny. I'm just saying. Okay. So let's jump into oh boy. Okay, here we go. We're gonna jump into this like piece by piece. Underlord 26 says, got some ideas that I got. So we got fungal frenzy. By eating plant matter, the user can create small green spores that they can control. Just a dream. This quirk can make memories such as like dreams, but the target has to be sleeping. Oh, make memories seem like dreams. Okay. And then polarizer can change the magnetic charge of the user. This is allows walking on walls and messing with computers. Okay. That last bit, we'll jump into that. Fungal frenzy. Okay. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty chill with that one, actually. As Mark is saying, like, Peter, the Red Army needs the chill. Okay. I'm glad, Mark, that you are taking this opportunity to read other chat while not focusing on the task at hand. I'm joking. So, take a second to look at that one. But let's look at this one. Fungal frenzy. Eating matter, create green spores. Okay. So, any plant matter. So, are we talking about like things that you eat just on a regular basis? Let's say like you're just a big like green eater, let's say that. Let's say like you want to just go full herbivore. So depending on what you eat would probably also depend on like what spores you would emit and what those spores would do. Some would, let's just say like some will give you like crazy allergies. Others will probably put you to sleep. Some may be poisonous. Who knows? The world is yours to control. But Just a Dream is also a really passive actually quirk, which I actually like that someone actually added that in there. Making memories seem like dreams. But the target has to be sleeping. But that's the problem though. There's an underlying problem to that too, in the sense that your dreams are kind of like constructed partly by your memories, but also your experiences and also things that you've also thought of, but everything's all mixed together into some baggage that you don't really quite comprehend unless you're used to seeing these things in the first place. But a vegetarian quirk. So I guess I'll have to do like one for each one. So the Just a Dream quirk is kind of I mean, if you can help someone like regain memories like through their dreams, or if you can help someone relive memories very similarly, that'd be great. But is it affected by the person's like all their memories, whether they be repressed or not, or is it limited to what you know and shared with that person? That requires a lot of like specification. And what I've learned in My Hero Academia is that there is a lot of nooks and crannies you have to navigate to fully comprehend someone's quirk. Well, I mean, some. Like Twice as Double quirk actually has a lot more depth to it, especially when you start reading in the manga. So there's a lot more to really like take in from that. But I'm down with Fungal Frenzy. The last one is Polarizer. I should jump into that before I just start hopping on the first two. Can change the magnetic charge of the user, which and this allows for walking on walls and messing with computers. Now there was that one villain who does polar opposites, where he can give male and female like a charge. However, I think male and female have like a specific like charge, like positive to male, and female gets like the negative charge. And essentially, the opposites attract, and the same will propel themselves, and that would be the underlying issue. Is that I'm going to be mainly focusing on that particular ideal. So Polarizer, I think it's a good one, but needs a drawback. I think so too, because I don't know. There's got to be more to it. Like, you can't just change the charge of the user and just be like, okay. Well, I guess you're doing it on yourself, which is different from the other quirk user who couldn't do it on themselves but can do it on other people. But I wouldn't say walking on walls is an ability that you can do. You can mess with computers. So oh yeah, you can do that. So yeah, I think that one really needs a drawback. Agreed. So I'm going to give Fungal Frenzy the pass. Just a Dream as I'd rather be quirkless, and Polarizer is a pass, but also may need some actually digging into. But okay, cool. So now we're going to jump into let's see, we went through all these ones. We're going to actually go to Peter the Red Army. Mark, I have an idea for a quirk, which you're able to construct political ideology. Oh God, oh no, it's this one. I read this one ahead, but constructs of political ideologies and figures, and they're able to clone the Koraks of anyone you know, political views of or politically disagree, and you're factually correct. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading it. And you're factually correct. You are indestructible and can shoot and can one shot. So first of all, that was a hard one to read. Dude gonna wreck it with debate tournament. Okay. Well, Mark, I'm glad you're able to find some good understanding and some comedy in that. I'm gonna try my best here. Here's my problem. is I don't really follow it. I'm trying to read it every single time. Koroks, like I only know Koroks from Legend of Zelda. Listen here. and here's the thing, like normally when I see someone mention like politics or something political, I kind of easily like just turn off from that. Mark is saying it's an overpowered man, no drawbacks and one shots. I mean, just real chill dog. So with that one, I'm just gonna say I'd rather be quirkless, and we're just gonna leave it at that. Oh my god, my voice is just dying. Ugh, I'm gonna take a swig of water. We're going to a robot quirk. I have a physiology of a robot, can shoot lasers, rockets, bombs, and use other machinery or gadgets from my body. Basically, I'm a cyborg. And also, I would be big, strong, and skilled in martial arts and pro wrestling. That's just my character. Well, I appreciate them actually adding that little bit there. He also added that for iRobot, my downside, I can overheat myself if I use my abilities nonstop. And here comes Ali with that added commentary. True weakness, my boy isn't waterproof. So I kind of like this because it makes you really question about Cyborg as a character in Teen Titans or just the GC universe in general. Like, does it get rusty or does he overheat? And the answer is probably yes. Because if you think about like how Ida's like leg engines will like stall at times, like those things actually need something to kind of cool it off or some kind of outside source to maintain things. Otherwise, you have to go inside yourself and fix things. And I'm like, oh, that's gross. Are you gonna like open yourself up? Because I don't want to be in the room to see that. You'd be in the locker room, and I would just be like, I would have been done changing 10 minutes ago because I didn't want to see that. But that's kind of cool. It also opens up the possibilities of possibly swapping out like your gear for something else. Like say you want to remove rockets. God forbid why you would, but let's say you want to remove rockets. And instead you want to hook yourself with like a dope ass base. Then you can do that. Knowing though that you might overheat. And of course you can also like, now that I think about it, you could probably like nullify it. Like if you had like, you can have ice packs. Maybe it fixes itself. Similar to Torogi with overheating. Yeah, like if you could have like some kind of, oh my god. Can we have some water cooling with some LED? I mean, we're at the time now where we just have like water cooling with like LED lights. So why not we just do that? Give this man the glow up. So I'm kind of digging in this one because there's a lot of possibilities as far as upgrading that person, because if you're only limited to like your body parts, then you might have to make some compromises, but there are some limitless things you can do, like add a dope ass base. But I do like the side comment of just being a martial artist but also a pro wrestler, although maybe in the My Hero world that's okay, but good luck in the real world, because the people will be like, hey, I mean, you're not like a lady or anything, but that's cheating. Oh man, remember that whole debate about like it was an MMA fighter maybe who had become like a lady, so she had to enter like the women's division, and everyone was up to arms saying like, hey, wait a minute, that one was a man or something like that. And it's like, oh man, this becomes a whole debatable thing. But maybe in the My Hero universe, maybe that's a whole different story. So let's just hope for the best here. Ooh. I don't know how to pronounce this one's name, but Cyborg, Quirk. Pass. That's a good pass right there. Because I just like having fun with that. I think here's Io, aka Chick Noodles. Hold on, I gotta give shout outs to this person's username. Listen, as much as I like Peter the Red Army on HT, like good name, I gotta give praise to this one too. I think for chameleon turning into air would be dangerous because of how much there is. Now this might actually be something from a previous video, maybe this one. So I'm not sure if that's he's just responding to something like from the video, and I'm not like taking a look at that. But okay, so I don't think that's considered a quirk. So let's jump into the next one. But I do want to just like look at our chat right here. Jacori was mentioning for the cyborg thing, maybe it fixes itself, become one big guinea pig, not even an army, just one. Nice one. So let me keep scrolling. All right. Shoot, you're gonna start seeing ally no constancy over the course of this. Let me we might have to jump and speed through this because it's a lot. Like there's actually quite a lot of quirks that people have submitted. But here we go. Quirk concept is Golem. I make creatures and humanoid shapes and bring it to life to aim me in battle. Richard, no, sorry. The reply here is that Minecraft has entered the chat. Great. I get it. Oh boy. Okay. So with this one, Golem, I like the idea that you are pretty much a puppet master, and I think what was it? Naruto Shippuden introduced that with like the puppeteers from Kankuro, and Sasori was kind of like the bigger dude who was like, Kankuro was like, who are you? And Sasori was like, I'm you but better. Here's Kankuro in the yearbook, cooler Kankuro next door. But Golem, this could definitely work, especially if you're one to make your own puppets. And it doesn't even need to be like humanoid puppets. It could just be like constructs that have like opposable limbs or core that you can like manipulate. Now there's no drawbacks on this one, so unfortunately it's lacking there, but we can definitely like fill in the gaps for that. So with Golem, I would assume that maybe like you would have a limit to how many things at once you can control. Like say let's say you can control 5. Like if I had the quirk, I would be able to control 5 of me. But let's say we're gonna bring in a bigger guy here. I can't think of anyone right now in the real world. But let's say you could construct something similar to the size of a Tyranitar from Pokemon. Something like that. You can only do 2 of them. That would be kind of like the limit at a time. Cancer Tube is trying to add in some core concept zone. I do need to clarify, Cancer Tube, that we are just focusing on comments that have been previously added into other core concept videos. So at the time moment, I will not really cover anything covered in the main chat here. So apologies on that. Maybe I should have like put some disclaimer here saying like, will not do core concept feedback on live chat or something like that. But I appreciate that you adding that bit in there. But maybe if you add it into the next thing, we'll see. We'll just see. Okay. But yeah, Golem gets the pass for me because I like the idea of having like various creations that you can do or bring to you in battle, or maybe not even battle, maybe just like extra hands to help you out with other things like rescue work. So I can definitely see that. So as long as the drawback is you're only limited to how many you can control, that'd be great. As well as like maybe a time limit. But yeah, I'd give it a pass. And if there's other types of what was that? Setbacks, then yeah, that'd be great to elaborate on, but I'm gonna just stick with the one with just the limits here. Sorry guys, I was just distracted by looking at all the different like things added here. Like, whew, I can't emphasize enough. There's a lot. There is a lot here, and I haven't even looked at like much on like feedback as far as like who's even watching right now. But we're going to go in here and we're gonna jump into this one. All right, I still have it in me. Boop. Okay, here we go. So here is the concept series. Oh, don't mind the stuff on the right hand side. That might be possible spoilers on things, so don't worry about it. So my idea here for the quirk, Jackhammer, type mutant. So he has some kind of physical like abnormal. Ignore what I was going to try to say. The abilities is that the user has a jackhammer like mechanisms in the forearms and the shins. Damn. This allows the user to extend their limbs similar to a jackhammer, granting the user increased striking speed and power. They are also able to use their jackhammer legs to increase jumping and their speed. Although granted, I can only see jackhammers as the fundamental jackhammers, which means you would pound something to dust. But all right, here's the drawback. The more power and speed behind each extension would cause the user's jackhammers to gradually heat up. Overuse will cause their quirk to temporarily be unusable until they cool down. If attempted to be used past the limit, it will cause the user great pain. Which honestly, that seems to be the most plausible way to make a setback, but okay. Ali coming in with the feedback here saying, wouldn't that just break your hands? I guess the heroes would just use gauntlets. Brandon also actually backed with that, saying, good point. Like in my mind, the quirk is just a mutant type, so perhaps it would increase the durability of the hands to allow the use of the quirk. If not, then maybe since the user has this quirk, use it so much that their hands can withstand the majority of their punches. If not, then yes, the user could wear reinforced gloves and gauntlets. And yeah. I like that. That was, hold on. Here we go. That was a, I don't have the words for it anymore. Just like, there we go. It's a wholesome like chat or conversation that was going on. So I like it. Just to be on the same page, everyone knows, or at least everyone has the idea of like a jackhammer being like, son of a bitch. Yeah, we all know what a jackhammer does. It's pretty much a stationary object that usually people will just kind of drill into the ground with. And the thing is that it rapidly, with its strength and speed and consistency, it will literally just like pound into like whatever it's like overlaying, pretty much into dust if you needed to. But I like that. I like the idea of having like a jackhammer type of quirk that looks super powerful, especially if you want to do like a JoJo reference with the and the so I can see that. My thing is that I don't know if you can do increased jumping with the jackhammer like foot. Moreover, you can do the speed and maybe you can go through some certain like obstacle courses just fine with it, but jumping, I'm not sure if you can do that. But I like the fact that it's going to function just like a jackhammer, but you're going to end up overheating yourself over the course of that. Now, of course, it depends on like the power and the speed. So obviously the way you want to counter this is maybe ice pack. Maybe like a cold lunch. Bring a cold lunch with you, okay? And sip whatever it is, water, soda, that kind of stuff. Or you just like just do a Resident Evil like 7 and just like ointment yourself. That's really gross. But yeah, all right, Jackhammer gets the pass. That one's a nice one. So far, I haven't really done any like nope type of quirks. So, this is really getting to me. There's a lot of them too, but we will keep trying here. The quirk concept here we got from Dragon Sushi. Classic name, and amazing profile picture. Loneko. But if you touch something non-living, you can make it immovable by any means as long as you stay in contact. Oh, Ali coming in with a good commentary here. That would make for a good villain. You could kill a person and touch it. Kill a person and touch it. After that, everyone will think you're just a statue collector. Had to get dressed, says Mark. What did I miss? We just went over the Jackhammer quirk, which I gave it the pass. Essentially, your arms and legs are jackhammers that will heat up over time, so overheating is the drawback. And I'm just kind of okay with that. I'm okay with the drawback. I was thinking like, yo, just douse like ointment on them or like ice water or just have a nice soda for your lunch. Just like you'll be fine. And you can also like do a lot of JoJo references with that quirk too. But in any case, all right. So we just went over the concept of stop, and I like this one because it could be really overpowered, but it's also pretty useless in other like situations. So let's say, pretend this is a tennis ball. You take that, you grab it, you touch it, it's stopped. But the thing is that you have to keep your contact with it in order to keep it like that. So essentially, you're just holding it, and that's it. So it functions exactly like that. But let's just say that let's say someone's hitting you with that muscle augmentation 2.0 like previously mentioned, and they're gonna slug the fuck out of you. Essentially what you can do, even if you're not even gonna touch it, you can literally just touch maybe like take a chair and put it in front of you, and he punches that, and that's it. It won't be pushed back. Literally that object is immovable. Now, I can't tell you what happens to the force behind that punch, but I will tell you at the very least, that chair's not moving, therefore you're not moving either. So maybe you'll feel... I mean, like, the energy... It's weird because you also have to think about energy, like, conversion, too. You know how, like, there's, like, a resting state of energy, and there's also kinetic energy. And one of the examples would be, like, you going up a roller coaster, gaining that energy... slowly, and then you stop, and then you let go and go straight down. That's the kinetic. In this sense, you're literally neutralizing everything. So I don't know if physically we can apply that to other things, but it is something that has like a specific use, a very helpful use though. So yeah. Sorry, I need to take a quick little break from that. Mark was saying that, yo, the drawback, he needs to utter the words, oh, no, 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 and that's just a Jackhammer quirk. The recoil is the drawback. It's true, though, on the Jackhammer. The stop quirk, I'm digging it, but there also needs to be, like, what happens to the force behind something? So, I mean, that's what I was asking, like, maybe you don't even need a chair. Maybe, like, that muscle augmentation can, like, come flying at you, and you just, like, put your hand out. And well, actually, that's like that is a living object. He did specify it needs to be non-living in order to like just remain state. So that essentially means even with a muscular quirk, you would take an inanimate object and then you would just keep it in place. And then when he would come to slug you, that's what I was meaning to say. The chair would not move. It won't even break. It's just there. For as long as you hold that. Otherwise, he can literally just pull the... Well, he can't pull the chair, but he can get around the chair and literally just slug the hell out of you. It's like a gravity quirk, except it stops midway. So it's weird. It's a weird one, but I kind of dig it. So we'll give it the pass, knowing that maybe there needs to be some elaboration added to it. But okay. Next one. My quirk is sleep. Yo! This is it. That's it. This is the one. My quirk says, user must be asleep to utilize the quirk, but user can manifest anything they dreamt of before and control them, but cannot control their own body, which means they physically cannot protect themselves. However, whatever they can really make in their mind can protect them. And this is from Quality? Drawbacks, including hallucinations, struggles to separate reality and from dreams, mild narcolepsy, and or depressive tendencies if overused for however long if the quirk has been used. If the quirk is used to way past full extent for 2 hours, for example, then they will... I'm sorry, guys. I'm like really like struggling right now. Then they will suffer drawbacks for 2 hours in extreme ways. Oh, bitches, look at me trying to me trying to seem smart. Quality. What if the quirk user was an insomniac? Bruh, then they'd be doomed. He felt that one. Okay, so I like this one. I really like this one. So, I mean, one, it's sleep, and two, it really just kind of like builds up from that other quirk that we mentioned before, which was the take everything to virtual reality. And also, I think there was also another dream quirk that was part of one of the threefold comment. I like that idea. I like the idea that you're able to take everything you can muster up, try and remember it, and make it into reality. And the thing is that you can actually control what you dream. You really can. I don't have that ability, but people have reported they can, so I will take their word for it. But to be able to conjure up something like that, knowing the vivid memories of it, that'd be great. But the problem is you have to be asleep for it, so it's like you'd have to, like, before like a battle, for example, you'd have to really think about, like, okay, we're gonna fight against Shigaraki. Shit, I'm gonna need some fodder. I'm gonna bring like 16 Stevens, and I'm gonna just like fall asleep like that. And then 16 Stevens are gonna be coming out there, maybe 2 to protect me and my main body, and then we're gonna have like the rest of the Stevens just go after Shigaraki and get like. Well, actually, oh shit, I didn't even imagine. What if you can dream other people having other quirks? Oh, better yet. Here we go. Steven's dreams should be censored. You damn right they should. But let's just say, for example, let's say Steven is not the chosen quirk user for this. What if I can dream of myself, like I can dream of myself having the ability to use the quirk without actually sleeping. So essentially, I have another main guy watching over me who has the exact same quirk, but not have to fall asleep for it. But he thinks exactly like me. So it's like I'm fighting in there, but I'm kind of not. But I'm also sleeping. Okay, there's a lot of potential for this one, and this course got me woke. It's got me thinking. The gears are turning. So lucid dream quirk and daydreaming? No, it's lucid dream quirk. Like if you can like control what you dream, like in a lucid dream, then you can really just make use of that. Now, granted, though, you have to make sure that you don't wake up during this entire like process. So maybe before you go to bed, have some earmuffs on you so that when you're taking the battle, at the very least, you don't hear anything. So, also, I was talking about like, what if you can dream other people having different quirks? Like, what if I had like 17 Stevens all with the one for all quirk? Or shit, like there's a lot of possibilities there, and I like that. I like that idea. And if you set it up right and you trained hard enough, like as long as you have as long as you're Batman and you have the preparations, dude, why don't you just dream up Batman to be there? Solves all Superman. 17 Stevens with sperm strength. Yeah, that gross. All right, I'm gonna give this one the biggest pass that I'll ever give to anything right now. Clarity, major quirk vibes here. So I will give it the heart. I like that one. We got Meg here as well, saying the quirk concept that he or she has, probably she, no strings attached. It's a puppeteer quirk where the user can create strings like a spider from their fingers. If the user strings another person or item, it can or item, it would stab said person, allowing them to be controlled. Wait, hold on. Jesus. Let me try this again. If the user's strings touch another person or item, it would stab said person, allowing them to be controlled. Got it. Okay. Strings themselves are thin and weak, but if you build up the string, it can be quite unbreakable. Multiple strings can be created from one finger. Jesus. Strings are made from spider silk. Similarly, the spider's the silk is made from glands of the user's body. Oh, okay. It's quite tedious to build larger things like walls or shields. No, the user cannot web sling. They tried and they failed. Well, I mean, at least we all know that they came from a very similar universe. Using the quirk requires focus. You have to be calm mindset. And also, they add another quirk, social butterfly. User can make public speeches and talk about world peace and totally be part of the... No, okay. Alright, so user can make their emotions into butterflies. Oh shit, I didn't even think about that. Which when they touch someone, they will experience that emotion. However, the user cannot control who the butterflies touch. The user can also be affected by their own quirk. Which causes more butterflies. Oh. Okay. That's interesting. But yeah, let's look at the Puppeteer quirk. So, it's limited to just that, alright? Just puppeteering. They tried web slinging before. Didn't work. They failed. They tried and they failed. You know what? I appreciate that. Cannot make walls or shields. So, it really is just that. However, let's say I have my phone like way over yonder, and I just want to use this finger, just like zoop, and I can just pull it back like that. You can do that, essentially. If you can control someone, you can most certainly pull something back out. Especially like when the multiple strings on your finger is strong enough to actually hold that. Can do it. Can totally do it. But Mark was saying, I love how he dressed it because he knew people would ask about it. Well, I mean, I appreciate the hustle right there because I know a lot of people would be like that. But in any case, there was also a comment down below. I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but Anime the Heroes alt says, cool, mine is water manipulation. He can become pure water and bend water when in water form. Plus makes water clones. So just Water Boy, the movie. Water Boy the quirk. But Puppeteer gets the pass for sure. Social Butterfly is also getting the pass because it's not offensive, but it's a much more I could see as like much more of a medical type of quirk usage, where you could use that as part of a therapy session or something like that. I like the idea that they don't take it literally, but well, they actually do take it literally. Take the emotions into butterflies that just kind of float around and will touch someone and let them receive that emotion. Yo, I would take this quirk in the real world. I would take this quirk. If I want you guys to make me feel sad, I would emit like sad butterflies. If I could, or better yet, if I can let other people feel how I feel whenever I go to a dog shelter, it's usually positive, of course, because all the cute puppos, but everyone gets the positive vibes on that. I like that, so I'll give it a pass too. Also, just kind of comment on Anime the Heroes water manipulation. I've been slowly getting into the whole idea of like using a water quirk, so that in like my previous introduction of that, being able to just shoot water from your mouth, but also like apply different like mechanics to it, so you can start using it like at your arm, depending on if you have like, some kind of like hydraulic system going on. But yeah, I like that one. I'll give that one a pass too. Oh boy, holy shit, we got this. We got the next one coming from the world of stuff. No, seriously, that's what their channel looks like. Quirk Concept. They got hopefully not a lot of, and they do. Great. Quirk Concepts. Grow parts. I don't know why that was very humorous to me in my head, but let's continue. Type is transformation. It allows the users to make any part of the body grow. Like if you used it on your hand, you could do a powerful punch. Downside, if it grows too big, that part of the body could ache. Gotcha. Oh, this reminds me of the president or the head classman of class 1B, who has like just the big arms. That literally your quirk is just big arms. So I'll think of it like that, but with added like body like appendages that you can use. But what about this quirk? Hot sneeze. It's an emitter quirk of sorts. The user of this quirk sneezes at will, and lava snots fly out their nose. When they sneeze, it could be stronger if they had a cold. Downside, sometimes it can burn their nostrils. Ugh. It's just like whenever you have like a hot pepper and like you have to poop it out, and it's all burn bum down below. But next one is layers. You know, like onions. Transformation. User can make the inside of their body, bones, muscle, veins, organs, come out to create another person. Pretty much. To create another person. Pretty much every layer has a perk that the original body doesn't like muscles, add strength. Downside, it may lead to heartburn if the layers are damaged too much. That one's kind of an interesting one. That is very dangerous. Like, holy shit. Like, they'd be out there in the field like, all right, let's go get this guy. We're going to double up. Ready? 1, 2. And then the guy pulls out a gun and shoots the organs. Like, oh. It's like he only had the one job. He was really just banking on his quirk. But grow parts, it's very much like how, I already forgot a name. It sucks. But Class 1B's president can do it. So it's possible. It's weird, but you could definitely do it. So I will give it the pass on that one. Hot sneeze, instant pass. I will just like, I'll stand by this one because I already know what it's like to just like, well, anyway, when you sneeze something, it shoots lava, but you also burn at the nostrils like after a while. So I get that. I'll give it the pass. Layers. I'd say I'd rather be quirkless because that seems absolutely scary to just kind of go through. Whoa, alright. I'm going to jump into the next one, actually. Actually, I was like, my spleen! And I'd just be like, my brand! Okay, so Sean Ramos says, here's his quirk, it's Steven. User, that name, hero name, Madero or something, Madero. Totally not someone from the Uchiha clan, but from the Uchiha clan. Quirk description: the user can shoot fire like Todoroki, but the main thing about this quirk is that when the user is angry, their eyes glow red and the attacks grow stronger. The weakness: the user will faint after using. God damn, this is like some serious road rage, huh? Will faint after using their quirk too much. You can't control yourself when you're angry, and the ability can be stopped by somehow soothing down the user. Somehow. Okay, so literally just Steven the quirk, and even much more painful to just trying to get through. I get it. So literally just a short fuse. Someone who emits fire shoots fire, and the attacks get stronger, but you can't really control them once they like get angry. That's the downside, and that is one hell of a downside because that is such a useful quirk. So normally you can shoot fire, but it's not as strong when you can get angry. And the question is like, how strong are these flames? Because maybe they're not as strong as Todoroki. Even like in the manga, where he can improve on his heat, like beforehand, like is it stronger then? So that's the big question there. I would also say that, damn, dude, you need to really be paired up with someone who can actually take all that heat. Like our liquid nitrogen dude. It's okay, he'll just freeze him up. He'll be okay. He just won't have to use it on himself, though. Actually, you know what? They can both work together. Hey, and then they can both get introduced by Todoroki, and he'd be like, "I help you guys out," and he's like, "Whoop," and everyone's like, "Okay, this is good." Well, okay, I'm just enjoying myself over a little. I'm enjoying myself a little bit too much. But all right, I will give Sean the pass because that is a very difficult quirk, and I think we need more of those. The ones that could help so much, but it's so hard to control. Okay, Koala Guy. First of all, that is a fantastic username. Quirk idea is fireworks. You can shoot fireworks from your back towards anybody. You look into the eye. Whoa. So, if you use it too much, you pass out. So, homing missiles. Yeah, okay. I dig it. I think this one's pretty self-explanatory, but like I guess the question here would be like, so it's homing. So, what if you're looking at two people at once? Like, anger. I see. I missed Steven's quirk. Yeah, you must be hopping in and out of like these videos. Granted, this is a long one. We are at an hour. Holy shit, an hour. We've been talking like this for an hour? What the hell? Okay, so back to the fireworks one. I like it. There's gotta be something else. Because you're shooting it from your back, I feel like there has to be something to do with your back muscles too. So let's say if you use it too much, you'll pass out and you'll also lose maybe a bit of cartilage in your back and bones. In which case, maybe you don't want that either. That actually sounds like the worst idea. How about if you use it too much, you cramp up and you can't really walk proper. So forget like a high-speed chase scene or just trying to run away from something. You're done. Like you're you're good. That's it. That's a wrap. Oh shit, this is it. But okay, fireworks, dig it. I'll give it the pass. I will jump to the next one right here, which is should we pronounce this Aegis? Hero name is Alchemist Warlock. The quirk is an elemental control. Control over the main elements of nature: fire, water, earth, herb, lightning, metal, radiation. Okay. Only can use two elements at the same time, and they must be compatible. So no fire and water type of combination. Okay. Elements use nutrients from his body, so after excessive usage, he'll need to rest or some food or drink. Fire uses body heat, except in summer or in hot zones. Herb uses vitamin. Okay, I can't look at that and think of it seriously. Water uses, water, so rain or forest zones. Earth uses lipids. Metal uses iron, except in urban areas where metal might be controlled. Lightning and radiation are the only elements that does not need nutrients, but excessive use of lightning paralyzes them, and radiation, if absorbed, is too much time in contact, increases the probability of developing radioactive poisoning. Evolutionary phases. When born, controls water, fire, earth. Phase 2 is herb. 3, metal, lightning. Weakness 1, ignored, but uses most energies when each element is used. Phase 6 is radiation, and oh shit, that was it. Oh, okay, that was. Let's see what the yeah, let me look at the feedback here. So Merriman vlog says that this is pretty OP. It'd be better if you were to put some more drawbacks to balance it out, like if you were to use the same element for too much. 30 seconds to an hour, you won't be able to control that element in a 24-hour period, and the stronger or higher they are in the evolution phases, they're going to need to use more nutrients. And for lightning, if you use it way too much, maybe you will just it might mess up your nervous system to not react or something like that, which means you don't feel any pain. But that's a bad thing because you could die or pass out, have serious injuries, and you wouldn't even know it. Let's see, and radiation isn't really an element, so I recommend putting lightning at the top or adding wind for phase 4 nutrients used for your breath. So yeah, and oh fuck, you know what? You guys can read that. Oh. Yeah, Mark, that was about air mentioning in the chat. I was about to say, like, hold on, herbs is not an element. And lightning technically isn't an element either. So if I actually had to rearrange this one, it would just be fire, water, earth, and air. And that's pretty much it. Now, what I would think is like if you could like combine the quirks together, kind of like a Keka Genkai or like pseudo like evolutionary like bending abilities, and that was introduced in Legend Core. Maybe you could do lava bending or something like that, something of that sort. I like the idea that all right, have you guys finished reading this bit? Okay, so I like the idea that you would use resources from the environment as well. And sometimes you might be able to use like your own body's abilities, but otherwise it would actually just be like limited to just fire, water, and earth. And how you'd bring that into like any type of like situations that you would literally have to carry everything with you. So you just have a whole bunch of water bottles. Maybe you'll have some dirt on the side, you know, you're just like in a little pocket. You just want to just like pat it down, just like, okay, we good here. And lightning, I don't even know. You know, just like give them a baton, like an electric baton, you'll be good. I'm not sure about metal. Metal could be something like metal and lightning could be something that could be added later on. And radiation isn't really an element per se, but you know what? Like, I don't know how you'd bend that, but Earth. But yeah, it's just yeah. Well, we can consider that extra stuff. So okay, so I like the ability to control all elements, but having limited resources to do that, and using control would affect you in different ways, like physically. So I like that. But this one's kind of a difficult one because it is kind of overpowered in some respects, but it's also limited to how you are. So I will I'll still give it the pass. I'll still give it the pass. Oh shit. Oh boy. Okay. I'm gonna have to I'm looking at the next quirk, okay? Bear with me on this one. This is from Thomas, and this is his hero name is Sugar Rush. Mark was also saying most OP ability I would say still is matter manipulation. Sure. Quirk speed is sugar speed. Mike has the power that allows a person to move faster than humanly possible. While most people can move 12 to 15 miles per hour while sprinting, a processor of super speed can move much faster with usually a minimum amount of effort. Or okay, the possessor of the quirk. Weakness. Amai gets hungry from running, so she constantly will have food with her, and her feet get really sore when using quirk. As you know, that seems natural. In fact, that might not even need to be a downside quirk. That just is. Support. Amai. Ooh, okay. Sorry. I think that was pretty much it. Amai could get some help with the support class and get some bracers for her feet to keep from sore feet, and get a utility belt to full snacks. I like that's a priority here. We need snacks. I have a question, says Sean. Does the name have any meaning, or did you just choose it for no reason? Choose it for no reason. Okay, so I think we might have to change that name though, because I think Sugar Rush has already been taken. But I like this idea that it really is super speed, but it's limited to your nutrients and how much food you've consumed. Obviously, you want to make sure that you've having a good morning breakfast where you go out for a run. Otherwise, you'll lose easily. So we'll deal with that. They deal with that with like having like snacks on the side. Of course, you want, depending on like the health and nutrients. You want to make sure you're bringing the right stuff to eat, and probably water. And I like how they incorporated the support class, because I don't really think we've seen too much of that. The support class is a really good place because when you have basic quirks, like just having like physical like setups and structures all relying on the human body, sometimes support just really helps, especially in Deku's case, because his is really just overall like stockpiling strength, and you can do a lot more with it later on, or maximize the minimum amount using something from the support class, like the steel-toed shoes, and then later on an adaptability for his gloves. But digressing from there. Mark was saying, oh, he made his character into a girl. All right, then. You know, it's just like off the cup. Oh, well, I like this one. You're going to like this one too. But here it is. If I can actually line it up. Dragon Crusher says, Quirk, generator. Pretty much Generator X. And you just leave it up like that. Oh, boy. But you're saying like, so nanobots. Yep, cool. Son. The Quirk is just nanobots then. The user has nanobots inside his body and can control them to do different things then. Weakness. White blood cells are replaced with nanobots, so they have a weak immune system. Probably. Which also means the user always gets cold. Dragon Crusher is going to add to that. I like that. You're welcome, Crusher. Yo, okay, they just collaborated like right then and there. So Generator Rex, they have nanobots in their bodies, so they can do a lot of stuff with them. But the problem is that they have a weak immune system because everything's nanobots. So that gets a stamp of approval. That is a good pass right there. But okay, I'm gonna jump into the next one actually. Whoa, let me see if I can cut this down to like 2 hours instead. All right, so Quirk here is analyze. The idea from Lee says the idea is kind of like Coda, right? But you can have any animal's ability that you want. For example, if you want to be a frog, your arms, legs will grow a little bigger, and you have the ability of a frog. If you want to be an eagle, then suddenly behind your back will grow wings. You can fly like an eagle, have the ability of an eagle. Drawback, you can only have the ability of that animal in a limited amount of time. If you go through the amount of time with your body will feel pain, and you will turn into the animal you are currently using past the amount of time. Is this too OP? Maybe, but it's also like, well, Hawks, Gang Orca, Froppy. No, it's fine. Whispers, we need to kill them. He'll take our jobs. Oh, great. The chat's actually really good on that one. So, here's the thing. We already have a user in the big three that pretty much does exactly that, but with limited like appendages being affected. And that is the only issue with that. If you have the ability to just have a mindset to do that and to conjure yourself into like a bird or a frog, then I think you need to have like a really strong like mental capability to maintain that like thought process. Otherwise, it could be really OP. Because like that's like a step closer to like Beast Boy, for example. Beast Boy being like, well, he can transform to anything. Every single like bit of the physiology of that animal is him, and he's kind of OP in his own right too. In fact, if Beast Boy were to just find himself in the My Hero Academia universe, dude, he's up there. There's no, ugh. Like Beast Boy's good. He and Spider-Man would already just be out and about being superheroes over there. But this one's tough. Like the limit just being a time limit, and just like overall like, oh, I just feel pain. I have like growing pains. And you transfer into the animal you're currently using past the amount of time. I don't know. That one's actually really tough. What do you guys think? I think analyze is that's a tough one. I can't really say because it's comparing too much to one of our big three characters. And also I'm tired. I will say it is pretty strong. I will just give it the pass for now. All right, so all right, we're almost done here. So tell you what, I'm gonna just like read off of. I'm gonna do like rapid fire here. All right. Oh, okay. Here we go. Here we go. And boom. Okay. We're going to start from the bottom to the top. Quirk name, Mark. Well, at least it's a K, not a C on this one. The user must touch a person with all 5 fingers and it will create a mark. When the mark is placed, the person will be able to follow the user's commands, but the mark will only last for about like 5 minutes. There's no drawback to it. I can see that being useful at some point, but there is no drawback to it. And I don't know, with something like that, shit, like I'm trying to do like a quick rapid fire action because I'm trying to also cover like quirks from like quirk concepts too, but I might have to hold off on that because I'm so dead tired from all this. I didn't expect myself to be so exhausted to read all these, but here I am. Let's see. Touch marked. This one's that's tough. That's really, really tough. Okay. Like I can see it. Like say for example, like I'm with Steven, I press like all 5 fingers and I can tell him to drink whatever he wants and he does it. The downside is that I don't know what would downside be about that one. Like that is a super overpowered quirk, and without a drawback, like that's overpowered. So, all right, I can't even think of like a drawback for it. So, unfortunately, I'd rather be quirkless for this one, even though it is super really OP. But we're gonna have to jump into the next one. Boom. Quirk concept spectrum. The user can create a rainbow light and can turn them into beams of strong light. Their weakness is darkness. Using too much light turns your skin pale, and you become really tired. As to recharge your powers, you must stay in the sun for 2 hours. Okay, kind of dig that one. But for how long though? If you use too much light, because beams of light can actually be really strong. Look what happened to the ants every single time you put them under a magnifying glass. Like those things just die. So I like the idea that you have to recharge all your powers here for 2 hours. In that event, so you're pretty charge efficient, but as far as how much you can emit over that time, we're not so sure about it. But I will give this one the pass because totally dig that quirk idea. I really do. It can be used for different like applications other than hero work, so it's good all around for me, especially if you're not going to use it for strong lights, in which case it extends your time. But okay, pass on that one. Next is from Cup of Water. First of all, that's an incredible username. I think an amazing quirk, he says, would be fear. And that's interesting. Let me explain. Can I read more? Whenever the opponent, whatever their opponent fears the most, a user gains that power. Oh. So if your opponent has a fear of spiders, you can become a giant spider and gain spider powers. But this wouldn't be really good against fearless people and robots or things without emotion. Or well, yeah, fearless people. Although you could use your own fear or random civilians and allies' fears, this quirk that allows you to not feel fear unless you want to. Oh, okay. That's interesting. This would last as long as you would like in the radius of your opponent. The second you leave or your opponent escapes, you lose that power. Okay. Interesting quirk, actually. When you think about that, like fearless people, obviously that would not really work. You gain the power of those that people fear. So if say if your ally fears like a Titan-like character, you can use that to fight the enemy and you probably wouldn't really suffer too much from it, or you wouldn't be afraid. You'd be super confident about that. So I like that quirk. I really like the idea of like using fear as a power from other people. I don't know in my case how you would personify or augment someone's ability through someone else's fear of heights. I could just, are you gonna transform into a giant skyscraper and I just be conveniently placed on top of the skyscraper? I don't know, but it does depend on someone's fear, because otherwise, like, you can have that power, but what's the point? Like spiders, well, hell, like giant spiders, fuck. But if it's a fear of drowning, then what do you become like a bucket of water? Like, really weird, huh? But hey, I'm gonna just jump over here. Okay, well, I'm glad that we're still going. Nothing bad's happening. Okay, so with that one, oh, we're jumping into the older one. I'll have to get to that one at some other point. Yeah, I'm just way too tired to do this. So fear, definitely good pass. I will give the pass to that one for sure. All right, next, Texas Toast. Another brilliant name for this one. This is body manipulation. Allows you to give the body extra muscle mass, the ability to breathe underwater, harden your skin, and grow and shrink any part of your body or her body, and you can mold into yourself into weapons. Do I need to say anything? Yeah, this one's a rather be quirkless one. Yeah, there's nothing really that it's adding to it, because you're just making yourself super OP. Now, if you have the ability to breathe on water, that's cool. If you can harden your skin, that's awesome. But the thing is that you're really just stacking like on top of things, and that doesn't really go. At least that's like some like all for one like experimentation. Like you're giving someone multiple quirks, and hoping that they don't get a drawback from any one of them. So yeah, so it's not doesn't really work out. So we're gonna have to pass on this one, unfortunately, or rather be quirkless. There we go. All right, we're almost done. Tyler Gilbert. Just a simple physical quirk for me. Something like strong limbs. I'll be able to greatly increase my strength in my arms and legs, but there is a strain of the muscle for overusing it. Or muscle manipulation quirk that allows me to control all muscles as long as I'm in contact, including my own. But it requires a bunch of energy and protein and stuff, so a lot of eating. So that is a very simple muscle augmentation quirk for instant gratification. As far as like gaining the muscles you need to do a certain task. Very simple, very straightforward. Can be arranged so far. You will cause strain, but at the same time, I feel like that's also something that you have possession of anyway in the real life. Because you know how like you can get some hysterical strength, you know, like the whole lifting a car up for the sake of a baby example. So it's been done before, and the result is that you strain them so much that you can't even use them. And they've actually brought that up in My Hero Academia before, because they actually went through the same thing when finding muscular. So I'm gonna have to say I'd rather be quirkless, because I could just have that strength anyway. So unfortunately, Tyler Gilbert, that's just something that I think we all have, honestly. But in any case, let's jump into the last one for the day. Quirk is Copycat Shuriken. User is able to create right click something, able to create ninja shurikens if they touch someone with the shuriken. Shuriken changes based on the person's quirk. Oh, okay. Drawback: shurikens will decrease in power based on the amount of different shurikens user use in a certain amount of time. 20 different types of shurikens created in 2 minutes are weaker than 20 of the same shurikens used in an hour. Interesting. You're able to create ninja shurikens. Okay, and if they touch someone with the shuriken changes based on the person's quirk. Okay, I just read that again. So base shuriken, touch friend of mine, shuriken changes to like a wind-based shuriken or something like that. Okay, something like that. But it's very technical, and I like the fact that they decide to go technical with this one. It means that there's actually a lot that can actually work off of. So I like this one because you can actually like before battle, you can actually just like prep different shurikens. But of course, these shurikens will only last like, their effects will only last like maybe 2 minutes. So you have to do it on the spot. So I dig it. I will give this one the pass. This is from Amari Fenton. But yeah, okay. So, okay, that's all the quirks from catching up from that. Oh my god, dude. And the thing is, like, we have all these other ones, like, from here. And I would like to go through here. Although Sean has doubled up on that. And we already saw chick noodles. But yeah, okay. Here's the thing, is that, I'm kind of tired. And I didn't realize how much this would take out of me. So I'm going to end that from there. It's a super long video about quirk concepts. But I think it's really cool. Part 2 doesn't have too much. You're right. You're right, Jacory Brown. And I know specifically that you want me to read yours that you've already posted. We will get to that. And tell you what, for part 4, we can do this, and then we can look at the chat for like additional like live feedback. So it becomes a hybrid instead of like a, oh, let's do it from the chat now. Now we can do this and that. But yeah, all right. I'm really tired out, dude. I think from here on, I think we should just like limit it to like 5 quirks, dude. Like I just read and spoke in an entire like, oh god. All right, so I'm gonna end it here. We're good. We'll do more plans for different ones later on. So part 3, part 2. No, it's gonna be part 4 because it always keeps building up. We'll just catch up on this later. All right, so that's it. I appreciate everyone else who's been bringing me feedback as I've been reading the feedback from previous videos. If only it just didn't cost me so much energy out of me. So we'll resume this at a different time. I'm gonna go rest. I was gonna do something else as far as like videos, but damn, dude, this took a lot out of me. So we'll end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in. And I honestly, even if you don't watch it to the end of this video, I just want to say I appreciate like all these comments from people who just like love having these ideas for quirks. I know I don't seem like I am expressing extreme gratitude, but I am, because that's kind of what this channel's about. Like we want to continue to create conversations, just like people replying in the comment section like for other people's quirks and adapting it. And I think that's just super cool. It's just really cool, and it just really fosters a community like that. But yeah, as long as I don't end up like exhausting myself out when I do these ones, I always appreciate doing these, because you can see a lot of like diamonds in the rough. Like there was one that I saw specifically. I'm gonna give a shout out to that one because it was great in my opinion. But let me see the one that I actually just loved. Yeah, it's the sleep quirk. Because you can do so much with that, and I liked how it made me really think. But yeah, all right, I'm gonna end here. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and stay tuned for part 4 of quirk concepts. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. #bye. I'm gonna go take a sleep.